three types of uzis. You have the regular full size, there's like A and B and all that shit, but we ain't got time to go over that. Basically, simple terms. Full size, you got the mini, you got the micro. Now granted, this is just the Uzi pistol, but same shit. They just throw stock on it, it's auto, that's it. This one is a registered receiver, but the way they converted it was they actually still use the semi-auto bolt. They just did some modifications, and so just bear with me. My cameraman is asleep, so I'm gonna have to do this the hard way. So I'll take a brief intermission while I take this out apart. Okay. The inside of every semi-automatic Uzi is going to have a few things. Blocking bar. That has to be in place per ATF regulations, as a full auto bolt does not have that notch cut. So if you try to stick a full auto bolt in there, it's not going to work. It's just going to hit that, boom, you've got nothing. You also got the restrictor ring here. That makes it where you can only use semi-automatic Uzi barrels. That's not a big deal, as they are easier to find in semi-automatic than they are fully automatic these days. But the way mine works is it gets around that by one, changing out the sear. They cut a notch and made the auto selector. The hardest part was they clearanced the top of the bolt here, and then they removed and welded forward the firing pin, so that way it is now open bolt and not closed bolt. So an example of closed bolt, I'm going to take this one apart, another brief intermission. Now granted, with your full size Uzi you will have a blocking bar, but these mini Uzis are not required to have one, so this one doesn't. But still, it does, you would have to make modifications to the bolt because it is now closed bolt and has this funky looking system here, which you don't need on the other one because it's open bolt. And so basically what this does is it's a striker assembly. This thing goes back, this locks back and stays back until you pull the trigger, then it goes forward, slapping it home. They also added a little safety mechanism here so you don't get slam fires and stuff. That's not present on the auto gun. And it has the barrel restrictor ring also, but on the real mini Uzis there are notches cut here for little feet to go so that the bolt doesn't flip up, because it will. That's about it there. The Uzi pistol's actually made up the same way as the mini, so I'm not taking this apart, but it's made up the exact same way as the mini Uzi. So, you know, if you're gonna make one, you have to understand all this. It is easier to find the semi-automatic parts these days. Not so much for the mini, but for the full size, you can find that stuff everywhere. But those are pretty much the differences. As long as the receiver isn't bent, like if you, let's start with a good one. This one's an actual Israeli. You see how that's nice, straight, everything's all curved? That's because that shit's made in Israel. That's a real one. Now let's take a look at the crap Vector sold me right before they went under. And this is after I hammered it. You see that? It's literally cockeyed. It's not straight. It's just not a good build. But the piece of shit still works. Yeah, my language, but yes, after hitting it with a hammer, it now works perfectly fine. So you can't really do much wrong here as long as you build it properly. And this is considered by ATF just a semi-automatic pistol. It's kind of useless, but it's kind of fun at the same time. So that is it for Uzis. You pretty much know all you need to know.